it's Alicia Eggers with the Art of Education and also a K-6 elementary teacher in Central Iowa. Today I'm going to share some structures and routines that I use to help prepare for success before the mess. Last conference I talked a lot about the different basic structures for organization that I have in the art room. This includes my basic routines for every day. So every day in class, every table is assigned a job. This helps to make things run smoothly, but we also have cleanup routines, which I talked a lot about in my latest video, the cleanup routine that transformed my classroom. So these are in place every day, but when we start to have messy materials like clay and paint, we add a little extra to these routines. So if we go this way, I always have my work goes sign over here, and I'm able to change out any place where I want the work to go, to dry, to rest. So whether it needs to be stored in their class folder, it's dry two-dimensional work. Could go to a cart if it's three-dimensional, saving to the iPad if we're doing technology projects, or even the drying rack. And my special instruction sheet comes in handy when we talk about clay cleanup and painting. So with clay cleanup, it's the general routine of checking where your work goes. And usually that's either going to go to a clay cart, a wear cart, or over on the counter to let it dry and be stored. Our tools, which I will talk about later, go specifically to the clay cart, which I will also highlight in a little while. Water cups to sink, checking the floor, wiping in dry spot with damp paper towels, and then helping your neighbor. So getting these structures out and sharing them with the students and practicing them really helps make this cleanup process a piece of cake. And I feel like when you are all the way completely prepped with materials, cleanup can make or break you at the end of class. So that's clay. Along the same vein as painting, we have our basic steps, where work goes, how you clean up, and how you should leave the room when we're done. This is my decluttered kiln room. I found that when I first started, having all the clutter out of the way really helped me to organize my essentials. It was really hard for me because I think we as art teachers see potential in everything. For projects, for art clubs, maybe we'll use it eventually down the road. But I really had to get real with myself and think about how any of those extra materials would really apply to my curriculum, how I could effectively use them, how students might learn. And then I had to either recycle or pass them on to other art teachers. So within my art room, in the kiln room, I've really organized materials in a way that's easy for me to grab them, take them out to the classroom for use, and then put them back in their own place. Come on into my kiln room. So my kiln room isn't just for clay and clay items. I've turned it into a large storage closet for all of my essential materials that aren't already out on the shelves. Here I have storage of basic materials that I will get out when we need them, and I'll highlight that in a little bit here. Here we've obviously got some clay boxes for storage. This is my clay cart, an extra cart for different materials when we need them, paint cart, and then of course a wear cart, which is so essential to clay and storing materials. So first I want to talk mostly about the clay cart. I knew when I got my room going and knew that I would be doing clay with every grade at least once a year, I wanted to have something that would help the students get cleaned up quickly and efficiently, and was less stress for me, that I wouldn't have to dig something out later in the year. And this is just easy. It's right against the wall. It's not really in the way. I can pull it out. And students, we really practice the routines, kind of like what I talked about earlier with the cleanup routines. And we have rollers at the bottom, mats, tools, room for extra clay, and then different stamping materials and twisty ties, etc. Of course, we'll go get water cups at this sink, but anything and everything we need for clay is on this cart. I've brought it down to the bare essentials that we need to make every single one of our clay projects. In one of my other videos, I really highlighted the clay process and how to store different clay projects. So I have plastic gallon bags for clay projects that we're able to store from week to week. I really try not to keep projects from week to week because it is hard to keep them moist enough to use again the next week, but gallon bags really help. So, and then we also have just your basic cheap paper plates. This helps keep any projects that might need some extra sturdiness inside the bag. Each of these, the plates and the bags, I choose one of them to label with masking tape of the student's first name and their class designation. This really helps if students forget to put their names on the bottom of projects, so I can quickly do that at the end of class if they continue to forget that as well. And then again, these have their very own spot. I don't have to dig them out, and they just go right back on the shelf. Glazes are the same way, and as most of us do, I have glazing tiles, finished and fired glazing tiles for what the glazes will look like when the glaze is finished. It's great for small students to see because they see what's in the jar and they don't quite transfer that it's going to look completely different when it comes out of the kiln. Another thing I want to point out is that I keep my shelves for clay projects completely empty. Of course, I throw things on there throughout the year when we're not doing clay projects, and I know that some of us aren't as fortunate enough to have as much space as what I have here, but I've made it work for me, and I know that you can make it work for you as well. So just making sure you have those specific spaces ready to go to store your clay materials, to let them dry and be stored during firings. This really helps make zero clutter outside in the normal classroom. Alright, this is where I keep all my extra supplies for my normal supplies that we use every day. Normal supplies for us include markers, skinny markers, colored pencils, crayons, scissors, glue. Most of those extras are right down here, and because I have my markers and colored pencils sorted by color out in the classroom, I obviously want to sort them to refill by color as well in here. So I have them sorted in easy, cheap, dollar store plastic bins. Of course, these are all the red markers. And I can grab and go as quickly as I need to. This goes for crayons, the skinny markers. But up here, I really want to talk about these Space Maker boxes. Now, I got these for really, really cheap at Walmart at the back to school sale. I think it was like 59 cents or something like that. And so I got enough for each table to have 3 to 4 boxes so that we would have enough supplies for each table. I store them back here because we don't really bring out the oil pastels, crepe paws, or chalk pastels for every single project. But they are easily accessible for me to just grab, set on my extra little cart here, and wheel out to the classroom. So I can do that with the oil pastels, crepe paws, chalk pastels, and then I can see every single one of my supplies, and especially because I can't really see too much of the top shelf, it helps to have them labeled as well. So these are just really easy ways, quick tips, containers, and solutions to having your materials ready to go. The cart is also the essential piece to getting those materials out in the classroom. Just like my clay cart, I have a paint cart of essentials that we use for everyday painting. I really loved when I went to one of those guided painting classes at a pottery store that they had these pump gallons, and it was so easy for us to go over, get a quick pump of whatever color we needed, go back to our canvases. And so I thought, why not use that in the classroom? That is such an ingenious idea, and of course Blick had already thought of it and had their gallons ready to go. So I have the essential color gallons. It comes in a 6-pack. So that's why I have the green as well. I use mostly the primary colors, black and white. We do a lot with color mixing. Of course, mats for painting. I do have separate mats for painting in clay so that they don't mix the materials and there ends up being issues in the kiln. Of course, at the bottom, all the extra gallons and extra pumps. As I need them, I can quickly pull them out if I need them right in the middle of class. So we're going to actually work our way over. I usually travel from the closet to the normal painting area. So over here, I have my essential cart, but I also have every single essential that I would need for painting. Over here, I've kind of made it my painting paradise. So under one sink, I have all the water cups, different sizes that I would need. Of course, we have the stacked tempera cakes. And then I've already talked about my brush sorting system and how I found the solution to make all my brushes in a container. We can use them, we can access them. I have acrylic paint stored, of course, by color in my cupboards as well. So acrylic is kept separate from the tempera. We only use acrylic for certain projects, but that's in there as well. Behind the cart here are printing and texture making materials for painting. I have a separate cupboard for watercolors, and of course you can see I have everything labeled and ready to go. And then one of the very first things, and one of my favorite things that I have done, was sort the pints of tempera paint by color as well. So I've got the rows of paint ready to go when I need them. So if we are doing a quick project with colors that aren't in our normal pumps, I can grab those quickly, or if I don't want to run into the closet and get a quick pump of something, I can grab it from under the cabinet. Also, palettes are under this sink, so I've got water cups, palettes, and of course my dish drying rack. Works wonderfully for brushes to dry and cups as well. So this is kind of what my solution was to help make painting streamlined for me so it wouldn't be as much of a headache and a mess. And of course earlier we talked about the cleanup routine as well. So students know to bring their water cups and brushes to this sink because then we work through rinsing them out, washing them correctly, and then placing them to dry. And routines I showed you help make me feel accomplished and prepared every single day. I really would like you to create a system where you can grab and go that works for you and your space. Also check out my handout for more in-depth details about what I showed you today, as well as a flow chart to help you decide what you can get rid of when you declutter, and some ideas for helping teach new routines to your old kids. Alright, if you have any more questions or would like to share even more information, you're free to email me at aliciaeggers@theartofed.com or send me a message through Twitter, and hopefully this has helped you figure out some items that you can use for some success before the mess.